Welcome to a special edition of Web Chat. We're talking with the mayoral candidates in the City of Woodstock. Joining me right now is current councillor and candidate for mayor Shawn Shapton. And Shawn, I want to get right into it. So what made you decide to kind of make the jump to run for mayor after one term on council?
For sure, and thanks so much for having me this morning, Chris. But first of all, I'd like to, more than anything, thank the residents of the City of Woodstock for entrusting me with the role of councillor the last 3.5, 4 years. It's been an incredible learning opportunity. But when it comes to running for mayor, I realized early on we just didn't have the leadership that we need. We need someone that has a business platform, that understands what it takes to be successful. We need someone who has collaborative leadership skills that can bring everyone to the table and understand where we're going. We need a vision, and we need someone with a strong backbone, not only at Woodstock Council, but at County Council.
Shawn, part of this is just to kind of let people get a chance to know you, right? So tell us a little bit about yourself, your connection to the city, and a little bit about your background.
Yeah, so I'm a longtime resident of the City of Woodstock. I grew up in Sweeburg, grew up on a farm out there, but went to high school in Woodstock, played all my sports here in Woodstock, and actually met my wife here in Woodstock at high school, and we're choosing to raise our family here. I've got 2 young kids. One is in high school and one's in grade 6. But more than anything, I started my business here, Integra Document Destruction. I owned and ran, and was very fortunate to begin everything here. When I started in Oxford County, there was no on-site shredding business, and with that, we were able to grow not only from Woodstock, but to London and Kitchener, and we grew to just over 1,500 customers, and I was very fortunate that in July of 2017, I sold that business. And now, of course, because I'll always have a business here in our community, and I'm always a strong believer in not only just saying that I'm going to invest in our community, but actually doing it. And so I'm now the president of BU Apparel & Co. I have 2 partners, Allison Atkinson and Nikki Dixon. Nikki actually gave birth just on Saturday, so we've got a new member of the BU Apparel team, but we're a positive messaging apparel company. And one of the issues that came forward this past term of council was the youth suicide crisis, something that I got heavily involved in, and something I believe passionately in that we need to do better. And creating this simple, positive message in our community and based out of Woodstock is one of the reasons that I started it. When you look at what I do here in Woodstock, we give back on a regular basis, whether it's our time or our money to many, many different organizations, from the Relay for Life to Secure a House and everything in between. There's been times we've even sponsored individual athletes to allow them to complete their goals and their dreams and find a way to become a beneficial part of our community.
What is your vision for the City of Woodstock? So where do you see this city going?
You know what, and that's probably one of the biggest things for me with this campaign. It's time that we brought someone in that has a business leadership background. We're at a crossroads right now. We've had so many missed business opportunities, both large and small, this past term, and my frustration just continued to grow stronger. We need someone who can bring many people to the table with collaborative leadership and understand that people aren't always going to agree with us. I think, and that's okay. Unfortunately, there have been times this past term where if someone didn't agree with Trevor, there was no return phone call, there was no return email, and they were simply not a part of the vision for the city. But the other piece, too, is we really don't have a vision. A lot of people last election talked about bringing in a university to our downtown. Just didn't happen. And unfortunately, we paired up with Kathleen Wynne, and it didn't pay out for us. Nothing's come easy to me in my life. I've worked very hard to achieve what we've achieved at a very young age, and I think I'll bring that same formula to the mayoral seat. If we want to succeed, we have to find ways to do it on our own. I've watched way too long for us waiting for the province or the federal government to come forward with grants to save our downtown. And I've heard the term revitalization for I think the past 3, if not 4 elections. And I'm the same with everyone else. I'm tired of it too. I want to see change, but if we want to do that, we have to take the lead ourselves. We have to create our own change and create our own success. We aren't doing that. We aren't working with the businesses that are here now to ensure that they're succeeding. as a business owner myself, I understand what it takes. It's not easy. It's not easy to run a business, and it sure as heck isn't easy to run a family and raise a family in our community in 2018. We need to make sure that people understand what's available to them and how can we help. But it won't change until we bring everyone back to the table. I want to work with all the groups. And again, I understand we aren't going to agree on every matter. Every politician would love it if everyone agreed with us, but that's not the way this game goes. At the end of the day, whether we agree or we disagree, I'm a strong proponent that everyone's voice deserves to be heard, not just once, but every time that they have an issue. I want people to come into the office. I want us to be seen, and I want us to work as a collaborative group in our community to create a common goal and a common vision for success.
Shawn, when you're out there campaigning, talking to the people, what are some of the issues you're hearing? What are some of the key issues that you're focusing on this election?
So we've been doing a lot of door knocking. We've got quite a large campaign team this time. And of course, the biggest one is the tax base here in the city of Woodstock. I won't be the typical politician that says we're going to get our hands out of your back pocket and we're going to reduce your taxes, and then they never follow through. I'm realistic. I think what we need to do is refocus our core spending needs and look at what's important first and the extras second. We need to make sure that every tax dollar is accounted for and that people realize we're making strides to not necessarily reduce the tax base, but either maintain or minimize the tax increases that are coming. But one of the biggest things that we're hearing is there's no plan. There's not a plan for the seniors. There's not a plan for the downtown. And that's what I've been working on. Years ago, there was actually a senior study created, and unfortunately, it was just shelved. We spent a ton of money to create it, and nothing's been done with it. We need to go back to that. But we also need to work with our senior group. We've got a big project with the Southgate Centre, an expansion that is going to be proposed at some point for the new council, and we need to work with them. And I'll be honest, I've already begun that work with them to make sure that we've got people sitting around that table that we can bring a successful project forward. There's no sense in wasting everyone's time with a project that just isn't going to work. So I've encouraged key members of our community to sit around the table and key members at City Hall to have a voice there so that when it does come to council, we're prepared for it. But we also, one of the biggest things that I'm hearing is our youth. Our youth just don't have a voice, and they need to be heard. In 2016, when we went through the youth suicide crisis, that was a key and pivotal moment in our community. And one of the reasons why I brought forward a motion that we change in that people are heard and that they're heard. And I think we need to work closely to understand where is the mental health help. Where do people go? And I've said for a very long time, it's okay not to be okay, but it's not okay not to be okay and not know where to get help. But I also believe, just finishing, Chris, that one of the strongest issues will be affordable housing. This is a topic that I've followed at County Council for many years, as I've attended several meetings over the course of my term. And we can't continue to use the same formula and expect a different answer. I've been following other communities, and you look at Waterloo, for example. They've implemented an interesting program there. But more than anything, we've got to find a way to get people into affordable homes, and we have to refocus our needs from a spending level at County Council as well. 40% of our tax dollars goes to the county. So your voice needs to be loud and it needs to be heard. And that's something I can deliver at County Council. But then when you start looking at county projects, whether they're green programs or you look at the high-speed rail proposals that have come, although there's been many variations, we need to ensure that the stakeholders for our community are looked after and taken care of. And I can tell you right now, if you're looking for a loud voice at County Council and someone who's willing to stick up for the city of Woodstock and its residents, vote Shapton on October 22nd.
All right, Shawn, thank you so much. Those are all the questions I had for you. We're a little crunched for time, but real quick, did you have anything you wanted to add?
For sure. I think one of my biggest concerns more than anything is the voter turnout. We need people to get out to the polls and vote. And I'll be dead honest with you. As much as I want you to vote for me on October 22nd, I encourage you to go out and learn more about those that are running. Understand your candidates. Being able to write is a gift and a right that we're so lucky to have in our community. And I encourage everyone over and over, please get out and vote, make a difference. And October 22nd, vote Shapton.
I definitely agree with you there. Please get out and vote October 22nd. Want to thank Shawn Shapton for coming in. It's a choice between Shawn Shapton and incumbent Mayor Trevor Birch. We've also done a web chat with him as well. So make sure you join us again in our web chat series. And until then, we'll see you next time.